this case, it's me telling the story of a ghost. For me, 24 Preludes is the story of a life of a person. So looking back and seeing all these people or persons or the ghosts of the past, I would call it. And then the last prelude, the D minor prelude, is a sort of a requiem. You can also make a parallel with the requiem of Mozart, which is also in D minor. So it's a very tragic, and it's a kind of an end of an era. Every time you discover something new and something really interesting, and it's really a struggle between hope and despair, I would say, between the light and the darkness that we all have, I think. And for me, it's also very interesting how they develop, because even the very light ones that you think they're full of positive hope and inspiration, even they kind of change, and you can see how the darker ones really leave a print on the positive ones. So it's a kind of it's a struggle of a human being, and it's what's happening in your head when you sometimes sit down and think about your lived life, what you did right or wrong, or who influenced you, or if you ever did anything good to anybody. Or for me, I think it's very interesting to look at them and to play them, and it's always very tiring. Not because, you know, I've been playing many big pieces, but these are emotionally very tiring because they change. There are 24 of them, and the characters, they change all the time. So you have to switch from one to another, and you have this, you also have to switch in a way that you already lived the previous one. So the next one has to come out of the previous one, and on and on and on. So I think it's very special, this piece of music. It's just a masterpiece, so I love it. I think we have to also always keep in mind that Chopin was very patriotic human being, because he was so far away from his country, and at that time Poland was occupied by Russia, and he was suffering that he couldn't really help, and he wanted to go back and to fight, and his relatives would say, no, it's better if you're there in Europe and you do what you do, because that's the best way to support your own country and to make it even more famous, so this is your patriotic duty, they would say. So that's why he never went back. And of course, that's a very famous story, that when he was dying later on, he asked his sister to bring his heart to Warsaw, and because they wouldn't let him be buried in Warsaw, so there was the only possibility, and she was able to smuggle his heart in a jar on the border, and it was actually, till today it's kept in the church in the center of Warsaw, and I was very lucky to be there just a few months ago as I was playing a concert, and to visit the church and to visit the museum, and yeah, it has a very, the country, his nation and the country had always special feelings for Chopin. So this nostalgic feeling always is there in his music. You know, it's stronger than anything else. This love and longing for home. What's coming up in my head if you say the word Chopin? It's a romance. It's nostalgia. It's beauty. It's this feeling of loneliness, but also big love. So I think, and tenderness. So I don't know. There are many words. It's not only one. But a person who knew how to love and knew how to express it on the piano the best way, I think, anyone else could. So that's probably what pops up in my mind.